Good Wednesday morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for this Wednesday, August 23rd. Taking a look at our impacts for today, we have a potpourri of showers and thunderstorms from wetter across southern areas, mix of wet and dry, and eventually mostly dry as we head further north through northern Nevada, northwest Utah, and up into Idaho. The other problem is that behind this thunderstorm event, we have strong gusty winds and drier humidity pushing in for both Thursday and Friday in areas here enhanced in the orange. In the past 24 hours, we've had that lightning, which was further south, erupt across the Sierra front and across a good portion of central Nevada and Utah. Did cause quite a few fire starts. There was rain with them, low-end wetting rains, nothing too torrentially heavy here on the left-hand side. Our initial attack was moderate. We had quite a few new starts in the red. The larger red circles are large fires, quite a few up in the Sierra front in the Carson district, and a little bit up in northwest Utah as well. And if we look at observed precipitation over the past 7 days, not including yesterday, you can see how dry we've been across a good portion of the Great Basin. The monsoon is basically broken up. And even the past 14 days, quite dry across Nevada, Idaho, parts of Utah. A lot of these areas will be the focus of lightning over the next 24 to 36 hours. Taking a look at our fuels, our ERC percentiles, you can see that where we did have our initial attack, ERCs here were in the yellow, which is fairly low, but as we'll see in the next slide, the lighter 10-hour fuels were much drier. But our ERC problems will be heading further north into far northern Nevada and especially up into Idaho. The further north and west you get, the drier the fuels are, in many cases 90th to 96th percentile. The forecast for the 10-hour fuels today, they'll moisten right along the Sierra front, but you can see across northern and north central Nevada still quite dry, where we have also our record grass crop in those areas into southern Idaho. So that's something we'll keep in mind. Here's a look at our satellite imagery, and we can see the moisture now starting to push from Nevada up into Idaho and parts of Wyoming due to this trough of low pressure, which is continuing to swing further to the north. At the same time, you can see in the outer periphery here a deep low pressure area dropping down out of the Gulf of Alaska. The tightness of these height lines in yellow through here is a field of stronger winds, which will eventually push the lightning out, but give us stronger winds behind the lightning Thursday and possibly into Friday. So here's a look at this afternoon, the upper level map. You can see that moisture which was across Nevada and Utah has pushed further north into Idaho and into the Pacific Northwest, hence the high risk for lightning, where our fuels are the driest across a good portion of Idaho, and that continues with some of the other geographic areas in the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies. We'll have isolated to scattered lightning further to the south and east. Fuels, as you can see by the yellows, not quite as receptive, but probably some good IA as well. And you can see that on the precipitation map on the left-hand side, you can see our most concentrated precipitation on the lighter side will be across Idaho, tapering off across Nevada. Winds overall on the right-hand side fairly light, except in the vicinity of thunderstorms. We see little popcorn kernel purple colors. It could be brief outflow boundaries of about 35 miles an hour. Now on Thursday, that moisture starts moving out into Montana, but you see these tighter height lines through here in the yellow. Stronger winds pushing in, and so we have concerns for winds on top of the lightning across much of Idaho for tomorrow. That's our big concern. Precipitation, still some lingering showers and thunderstorms in the central Idaho mountains and pushing up into parts of of western Wyoming. And on the right-hand side, you see the winds here in the olive to orange shades. The wind speeds anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour, lighter as you head further south. On Friday, still possibly some lingering winds through here in the base of this trough, still some lingering moisture. You can see that some of our fuels have moderated a little bit with the moisture, but of course this time we probably will have several hundred to several thousand lightning strikes to deal with. Precipitation, showers and thunderstorms will be exiting into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, otherwise just isolated activity, if anything, further south. Winds fairly light, except a bit stronger up into central and eastern portions of Idaho. Precipitation over the next 3 days, not very heavy. The large-scale outlook from the Prediction Center in D.C. shows that maybe a quarter inch at most, maybe a quarter to a half inch in western Wyoming, but otherwise just a few hundredths of an inch scattered about. A look further down the road as we get into Saturday. Notice large, strong high pressure forming now across much of the west. This will bring much above normal temperatures, maybe near record levels across parts of California and western Nevada. Notice that our fuels start drying out, and that high builds even more centered across central Nevada. Very strong this time of year. Temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal. And then as we go into Monday, high pressure remains in control. Tuesday, very little change, stays in there. So we stay hot and dry with near record temperatures for at least 4 or 5 days following the lightning and the wind. Precipitation over the entire 7-day period. Most of this will come in the first 3 days. You can see that the heaviest in the Uintas or in western Wyoming. Otherwise, a lot of areas that would have gotten lightning would not have received that much precipitation. The 8 to 14-day outlook taking us from August 30th to September 5th, above normal temperatures, much above normal, continuing across much of the Great Basin, especially western areas. Wetter than normal across our southern areas, continue drier than normal across Idaho. This concludes our briefing. Have a great